Yes, just when you think you've seen it all with the NIL, we've got another situation. Bet you guys didn't see this one coming. We've got an in-season holdout. We don't even see that in the NFL, but it has happened at UNLV. Matthew Sluka, the quarterback of the football team. We're not talking about a defensive end. We're not talking about linebacker or wide receiver. The leader of the squad, Matthew Sluka, has discontinued his season at 3-0 UNLV. And he has decided to take his red shirt, preserve his eligibility, and he is no longer playing football for UNLV. And why? Because of an NIL dispute. Now, hold on. Before you all go and jump on the kid's head, because that's the easy thing to do in college football. That's what you do as fans. You're always backing the colors, and you will throw your stones at the player no matter what. And you know who knows that? The institutions themselves know that, and that's why they craftily go about doing things. Now, we'll never probably really entirely know what happened here, but we can make some guesses. And I'm going to tell you guys as fans out there, slow your roll a little bit if you want to shoot all of your arrows at the kid. I think these programs need to stop lying to these players. Yep, NIL is a part of this thing. It's here now. You just got to deal with it. But you know what you can't do? You know what you can't get away with, at least anymore, is lying to the prospects and to their parents and now to their representatives, of which Matthew Sluka does have one. Again, I don't know the entire situation. One side is saying all NIL obligations have been met so far as Matthew Sluka is concerned, and the other side is saying I was promised something and I am yet to receive it, or at least I have not gotten all that I'm supposed to get. And it feels like UNLV slow playing this kid. It feels like they made a big time promise. They wrote a big check that they could not cash. Now, we've seen this before. We've seen this at the University of Florida with Jalen Rashada, who backed out of his national letter of intent, his commitment, when Florida, for lack of a better term, came up short on what they promised him in terms of an NIL deal. And we've got a lot of problems in the NIL. First of all, my co-host on Two Chumps Football podcast, Emil Calomino, and I said, hey, this is probably not a good idea. This whole NIL thing's probably not a good idea. Kind of backed off of that a bit coming along, but we kind of foresaw some of these problems coming along. Not these exact ones, but once you start introducing money into the equation, anything can liable to happen. And this would fall under the category of anything happening. Here's UNLV with a chance of being that one guaranteed at-large, non-Power 4 bid into the college football playoff. This is the best opportunity this school has ever had. And here they are now without the quarterback that has led them to 3-0. Oh, by the way, with two of those wins being over Big 12 teams. UNLV certainly looked like the program that would do that this year. What a shot in the knee of all UNLV fans. I don't know how many of them there are. Let's face it, UNLV is not a powerhouse in college football, never has been. They're not like a Fresno State. They're not like a Boise State. They have never experienced that type of season. They were on their way to it, and perhaps they can still continue that. We're definitely going to find out what they've got in the bullpen since Sluka is no longer in the program or on the team. But I know what everyone's going to run to do, and I've already seen it already on social media. Let's go jump all over the kid. Let's go jump all over the prospects. Here it is. Kids being greedy again. Kids are ungrateful. What's up with this new generation? All that. Folks, I'm not really in that camp here. And again, I'm doing this, admittedly, without all of the facts. And I'm also saying we'll probably never really have all the facts. What this smells like to me, though, is that Matthew Sluka was in that transfer portal. He looked like a good prospect, and I'll explain to you how good of a prospect he was when he was in that portal. Looks like they made this big promise. We think we have a good football team here at UNLV, and all we really need is this missing piece, and this kid could be that missing piece. What's it going to take to get him? We know we're not some of the big time schools. We know we're not some of the teams that were in the former Pac-12. Definitely not the ones that went over to the Big Ten. We know we're not any of the Big 12 schools. We're not Texas. We're not Texas A&M. We're not even Colorado. We're not that type of school. We're not any of those. We're not like any of these big time schools that surround us in this geographical era. How can we get this kid and keep him away from these other places? Well, perhaps you throw a number out there and then hope that it can be met. And I think, quite frankly, that's what's happened here. I think UNLV made the kid a promise. And since things are a little bit janky when it comes to NIL, the school can say one thing, but the school's not the one paying you. It's an outside party, a collective, as they say, that's going to have to come up with the money. And maybe there was a miscommunication between the staff and the collective. Maybe the UNLV collective just doesn't have those kind of pockets. They're not ready for that. They aren't set up for that. They weren't in a position to give the kid $100,000. Whatever the case may be, this is what it smells like to me. The kid decided not to go to some other places because of the promises you made. You can get mad as a fan about how kids act and whatever is going on right now in the new era of college football players that have Lamborghinis and gold chains and they're getting paid and you don't like it. I don't remember all of this discontent for the NIL when there was first talk about it. Everyone seemed to think that this was a really, really great idea. These kids deserve to get this money. And it's a shame they could go and see their jerseys being sold in the school bookstore and no one can get money about it and they're hungry enough. I got it. I understood that part. But what you guys fail to see was what could potentially come down the road once you start putting money out there. And once you start putting money out there in an industry where there is a ton of pressure for teams to win, for programs to keep winning. Money's always been a part of college football. You guys know that. There was always a black market, so to speak. There was always something going on behind scenes. But when you just opened it up now and kind of made it a legal thing, you didn't think there would be unforeseen problems and foreseen problems? This is not that wild when you think about it. But it seems to me like that's what has happened here. A promise was made to this young man, and he's actually gone out and he's delivering on the field, and the money's still not there. And now they came to a point where he had to make a decision. And I understand you might want to kill him because he's hopping out on the team. Well, you got to look at it from his perspective. The kid only has 1 year of eligibility left. He has 1 year of eligibility left. He starts the season. They're probably telling him, yeah, we're going to get it to you. We're going to get it to you. We're going to get it to you. He's played 3 games and now he's at a crossroads. If I play another game, I'm going to jeopardize my red shirt. I'm going to be forced now. This is my year of eligibility. And as good as we're doing, and you could hit him with all the guilt trip about walking out on his brothers. The truth is, I was promised something. I've been asking for it. I'm not getting it. I'm getting a different story here or there. And before I go and commit myself to people who are lying to me, I am going to do what's best for me. And that is step out of the season, take my red shirt because I haven't played that 4th game, and I'm going to move on to somewhere else that can actually deliver on what it is they're saying they're going to give me. Best believe Matthew Sluka is going to get the next place that he goes, if he's able to go somewhere else, if his name isn't totally muddied up by the time he hits the portal and is in a position to go somewhere else, that he can end up somewhere else. Best believe he's getting something in writing. Now, he does have an agent, all right? You guys are going to have to wrap your mind around that, okay? All of you that stood by or was in favor of the NIL and all that good stuff, yeah, these players have agents now. Matthew Sluka's agent's Marcus Cromartie, and he's the one right now handling all of this stuff because you know what? Yeah, these kids should have an agent. They should have agents because you can't have these adults in these big institutions negotiating with kids and uninformed families. They're just going to get taken advantage of and they're going to get exploited. So I understand it. Yep. His agent is handling this and he's behind the scenes. Well, not really anymore. He's out front now. He's got to speak for what's happening. He's out there telling you they promised him $100,000. He's not gotten it. They've given him about $3,000. Now they're talking about giving him $3,000 a month. And we all know how that's going to work. He'll get $3,000 a month. through December or maybe January, and then they'll be like, huh, I don't know about the rest of that money. And you better take that little, $12,000. Thanks for the memories. Marcus Cromartie says, we're not going for that. You guys come up with the money or he's out. And I'm sure UNLV said, you leave the team, we're going to take a dump on your name. We're going to make it look like you walked out on your team, that we fulfilled our agreement with you. And since you won, you're coming back and you are asking for more money. That's what I feel like happened here. What do you guys out there think happened? Are you on the side of this team, UNLV, or are you on the side of the player? Put yourself in the shoes of a parent. For a kid like Matthew Sluka, what would you do? And the reason I kind of fall on the side of Matthew Sluka is I'm thinking, what was this player when he got into the transfer portal? He was a lightly recruited kid out of high school, ends up going to Holy Cross, and he absolutely kills it there. He was the Patriot League Rookie of the Year in his first year at Holy Cross. And from that point forward, he has absolutely crushed it. In his 3 seasons at Holy Cross, he's passed for over 5,000 yards, 59 touchdowns, only 15 INTs. Oh, and by the way, rushed for over 3,000 yards. As a matter of fact, 3,583 yards to be exact, and another 38 rushing touchdowns. This kid accounted for almost 100 touchdowns in his 3 seasons at Holy Cross. 6'3" kid, well put together, jumps in the transfer portal. I think he had offers. And when I say offers, I mean not just to come here and get a scholarship, but we're going to give you some money to come here because you look like the missing piece. And here comes UNLV jumping in there and saying, hey, we hear what everyone else is doing. We're going to give you $100,000. And then, to this point, he's got $3,000. I just don't think that the kid agreed to an NIL figure, received it, and because they won 3 games, just all of a sudden jumped up and said, hey, I want more money. I have a hard time believing that, folks. I just don't think that that's how that went down. I think what's more likely is he was promised a number. He hasn't gotten it. He got to the crossroads, which was whether or not he should play that 4th game and just call this his college football career. And he said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take a chance at getting money somewhere else because he's not being mentioned as a top pick in the NFL draft. Perhaps he could have worked himself into that situation, but there's no guarantees there. This is his chance to make money. He's hot in college football. He's hot in college football right now, and his name is really out there. And this is a chance for him to get some money for his football playing career. Because that NFL, I think that's what happened. I think he was at a crossroads. He hadn't received what was promised, and now he's telling them, pay up or else. And you know what, folks? Me, Chad Wilson, the guy who was kind of murky about NIL even being a thing, is standing on the side of the kid in this particular situation. But where do you stand? Go ahead and hit up in the comments. Like to hear from you guys. Also, the Two Chumps Football Podcast is up now, or will be rather soon. Check for it. Emil and I going through the top games this week and giving you our best picks and also discussing a few issues in college football. Hope you guys enjoy that. And also take the time to subscribe to the channel, as well as like and share this video. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.